Welcome back. Today's a kind of a side quest to what I normally do on the channel, but I wanted something good to eat, so I'm gonna make cinnamon rolls. If you like this kind of video too, please like and subscribe. That means a lot to me. But let's start. You're gonna need some flour, some milk, some yeast, some butter, normal sugar, kanel, cardamom, and salt and bigger grain sugar. You can also use normal sugar, but in the fill, which we're going to use this kind of sugar, that's going to taste better because of the bigger grains. You also need something to have all the ingredients in and mix them. So like a big pot, or what you call it, and something to mix. So we're just going to start. Okay, step 1 is to melt 300 grams of butter. This is not cut correctly, but 100, 200, 300 are just going to take a little bit more because of it's very uneven cut. So like that. Then I'm gonna melt all this. Just put it in a pot on the stove and try to get that one out. Like that. Let it melt. The next step is adding the milk. After the milk, we're gonna add the yeast. It's important that we're gonna get the milk and butter up to 37 degrees Celsius, and then we're gonna add the yeast. But if it's too hot, the yeast is not gonna work. You're gonna kill the yeast. So remember, I think it's better to have the mixture of butter and milk a little bit lower, but try to get it to 37 degrees. You can test this with just using your finger. If it feels like it's the same temperature as you, like you don't feel anything, it's right. If it's you feel it's hot, it's over 37 degrees. If it's cold, it's under. So it's just to add milk. I'm not sure if the pot here is big enough, but we're gonna try. Maybe. Yes, it is. 1 liter of milk. And then we're gonna just let this get up to 37 degrees. The next step is to add the yeast. Like that. And then we're just gonna try to take that in. I think that's good. Now we're gonna take this into the bigger bowl where we're gonna add things like sugar, salt, cinnamon, and other things, and flour. So I'm just gonna pour it in here. Right. I need to mix it a little bit better, apparently. I think that's good. Okay, the next step is salt, cinnamon, and 2/3 of the total flour. We're gonna use 3 teskje is 5 milliliters of cinnamon. One. I think I need a new. Two. 3. Sugar, salt. Then I'm gonna have one of these with salt, normal salt. Around that, 1. Then we're gonna have sugar. We're gonna have 3 deciliter, 3 deciliter. Around that. Just gonna pour it in. And 2/3 of the flour. We're gonna have 1.8 kilograms of flour, or around 3 liters. We can take it in liters today. No, we're gonna take it in metric. Ooh. I think that's around 1/3 of the total flour. I'm not sure if the bowl is big enough, but we're gonna find out. I'm pretty sure I may also did this in a mechanic machine, not manually as I do now, but we're gonna test it out. This is of course more work, but the result should be the same. I think we're starting to get there where we can put in the rest of the flour. Then it's just a little bit more. You need to have a big pot when you do this, apparently. Mine is not bigger than it needs to be. It's gonna be fine, but it's not bigger than it have to. My experience also is when you do it manually, instead of using a machine, it gets you get more air in it. I'm not sure why, but it's just my own personal preference. You can see it bubbles. Maybe I'm using the machine too long or something in those lines, but I just feel like it gets really I get most of the air in the dough instead of when I use the machine. It gets the air afterwards, but it now gets a lot more. You can see how it like opens up every time I turn it over. So we need a little bit more flour. Also, when you're almost ready or almost have all of the flour in, take it very slow, the last piece of the flour, just because sometimes you don't need that much, so maybe you need a little bit less. So just take a little bit, make that into the dough, take a little bit more, and just work it in slowly. It's better to have too little flour and have to add than standing there with rock hard dough and you have to add more milk or water or something like that. It's just easier to do it this way. I also think it's easier to just do this with your own hands instead of using this one. But I don't know if I'm gonna do that today. You can see it starts to be a dough. I think I'm gonna go up to just using my hands, just because it's so much easier to get the momentum. It's quite hard to do this, actually. Or maybe not. So I'm gonna take some more flour. I think I'm gonna do like that. Try to work that into. Yes, I'm gonna go to using my hands. It's just so much easier. I'm gonna eat the whole cake anyway, so it doesn't matter who. It's just myself, so. Maybe like that. Then it's just to work it in. It's a very soft dough today, and that's very good. Sometimes you should have like the ball glued down, but could probably just put the whole dough on the bench and work it there. Not sure, but I think I can that. I think that will be easier too. I think I'm gonna do that. Just gonna take some flour. Put this away. I'm just gonna take it out there. Can get all of this out too. Like that. Then I can easily export it. Right now it doesn't look that good. It's just because it's a lot of flour and it has to be worked in. But the dough is still not letting go that easy of my hands, which means it can take more flour. Which is good, because I need this all the way. As you can see, it very fast eats up all the flour. It's still hungry. And it also becomes more of a real dough. So the process of making cakes can be a little bit messy, but it's the final results that matters. It's still sticky, so I'm gonna take some more flour. We still have all of this left. So I'm gonna try to work it in. Gonna save a little bit just to be sure. Oh, now I need to be careful because it's gonna fly everywhere, like it just did. That's why you usually do it in the bowl. As you can see, it's still just, after some work with the dough, it eats all the dough, all the flour yet. So I think it's gonna be the exact number of flour in the dough this time. Just need to work it in. So I'm gonna take the last piece of flour. Also have a lot on myself, but that's part of the job. Remember to take it very slowly in the beginning because it's gonna fly everywhere if you don't. You can see when you add more flour, it kind of splits apart. But if you just work it a little bit more, it's gonna get it up again. Just gonna get all the flour in. Like that. Gonna get all the flour. Now I'm just gonna work it a little bit harder in. It should not need more flour now. It's still a little bit sticky, but that's okay. think we're done there. The next step is letting this rest. I'm gonna take it back into the pot. Just gonna add some flour, just so it doesn't stick too much. Just a little bit. And I'm gonna take it back there. I'm gonna put some flour on top of it. Then it should actually become twice as big. I'm not sure if that should work, but we're gonna try. So put some put like a napkin over it. Put it in a normal warm area, not too warm, but like 18 to 23 degrees maybe, normal temperature inside the room. And let it rest for around 30 minutes. Then it should have doubled the size. If it hasn't, let it rest a little bit more. But sometimes it just doesn't do that much. And last time I just skipped the part and made it, and it still tastes the same. It's just gonna be a little bit smaller. So we're gonna let it rest. So while the dough rests, we're gonna make the fill inside of the cinnamon rolls. We're gonna use 2 deciliters of this sugar. A little bit more. But I'm gonna use a little bit more of everything because I like it so much. So, like that. So 2 deciliters. 4 teskje, so 20 milliliters total of kanel. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just gonna take a little bit more. Around that. And then we're gonna have 150 grams of butter. I recommend having the butter in the room temperature, just so you get the softest butter you can, because you're gonna try to mix it in with all the other ingredients. So around that, 100, and then we're gonna have 50 more. Like that. Then you need to mix this into one big We're starting to get there. You see if it's more into paste, but it's still some left. So, I think that's good enough for now. Now we just have to wait on the dough and we'll see. So, it's been a good 30 minutes. It has gotten a lot bigger. Maybe not twice the size, but I don't think that matters too much. I'm gonna put some flour on here, take it out, cut it into 3 pieces. Then I'm gonna roll the pieces out, add the filament and or I don't know what you call it. Gonna add the sugar and butter and like that inside of it, roll it up and gonna put it in. So let's go. I think like that. Oh, look how good it looks. Ho ho ho. This is a big dough. Now I'm gonna cut it up into 3 pieces. They should be around the same size. So I think around there and around there. So now we have to start with making this into one long strip. The longer you make it, the bigger the circle of the cinnamon roll is gonna be. Also gonna make it a little bit wider. I think this is gonna be the biggest one that I ever made. I think the dough is bigger than last time, but we're gonna see. It's gonna taste good anyway, so it doesn't matter. I think that's good enough. Now I'm gonna take 1/3 of this. So if I make it, I can use around this much, I think. This seems like a very little it doesn't seem like much, but once you get it throughout the dough, it gets better. actually gonna take just to get. I think the butter should have been a little bit warmer. It's easier to work it when it's a little bit softer, but so now we're like this. Now comes the fun part. I'm gonna start here and roll it in. It's important to get like this nice rolling. Then all you do is like that. The thinner the dough is, the more rotations you're gonna get. I think that this one was a little bit too big. I should have had a little bit thicker dough, but it's gonna be alright. Now we're gonna take it on one of these to have in the oven. Then you just lay it down here. I think it's okay. Then you just try to get these together. No, it's quite good. To get the type of cinnamon roll I want, I'm gonna use a scissor. I'm gonna cut it at quite a steep angle, then I'm gonna pull it back. So, I'm gonna start here. Yeah. Cut almost through the whole dough, and with very short, not too long between the cuts. It's better to have, in my opinion, lots of small cuts than some big cuts, because then it's gonna be harder to bake properly in the oven. It's gonna be more, some places where it's raw, some places when it's overcooked, if you can call it that. Like that. Now it looks like this. Then you just have to start somewhere with just turning this back, one on each side. Here you can see I didn't cut, this is my first cut, needs to be a little bit more. Then one to each side, like that. Get it all the way back. Okay. We do like that. That didn't look the best, but it's gonna taste the best, so it doesn't matter. Like this. Then we're gonna put it into the oven at 200 degrees for around 20 to 25 minutes. You have to look at it yourself just to be sure it's gonna get, you see when it's ready. So I'm gonna take on timer on just 20 minutes and then I need to check it manually after that. Like that. So while that works its magic, I'm gonna make another one. I think that's good. Right now it's quite long. Like this though is there 73 centimeters long. It doesn't matter how big you make it, but I would say something in those lines is quite good. And also the height is 25 to 29 centimeters. Just to give you a perspective. Then I'm gonna share this into two. I'm gonna take some here. Just try to get it even over the whole I think that's good. Again, just make nice roll. I think I'm gonna try to make this a little bit flat, like that. Oh, it's a good piece. Then I'm gonna take it onto this. Get it connected around that. Then it's just to start cutting. Around that. That looks a lot better actually. I have to get into it again. It's been some months since last time. But the same procedure. One over on each side. For each and every one of them. So this one fell off, but it's okay. Like that. Good. I'm gonna make the same with the last one. I'm gonna show you when I take it out, but you just do it like this. So this is the first one. I need to rotate it. It looks good though. Look at this. That looks amazing. So it's been almost 20 minutes. Take a look. Oh, it looks delicious. I'm gonna give it a minute more. Okay, we're gonna say it's done. Woohoo! Look at that. Then it's the last one that is a little bit smaller. Put it down here, in, and remember the timer. 20 minutes. And you can see how much bigger they get after I put them in the oven. I think that's at least twice the size as when I made the cuts and all of that. Maybe 3 times almost. But look how good that is. So, thank you so much for watching. If you like this kind of content too, please like and subscribe, and comment if you think it's okay. I'm gonna make content of what I want. It doesn't matter if the algorithm on YouTube or all the viewers enjoy it, but I'm gonna try to make some content that could be fun to watch for at least some people. So, thank you for watching, and see you guys soon.